Obviously, it's not World Cup today, but that's okay. Uh, it's good to have you back, Matthew, and good to see you this week. Let's talk a little bit about. Um, I saw your Boston Red Sox last night, and I, yeesh, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah,
Um, it if there was a mistake to be made, they made it. Um, their base running was atrocious. It was just I I hadn't seen him yet, right?
yeah,
And so I watched a bit of the game last night. Man, it was tough. It's tough to watch.
yeah, yeah.
No pleasure, by the way, from that. I just it's an observation. It's not that I
Yeah,
have
it's been.
praised on the Red Sox.
I mean, listen, there's they played 65 baseball games. Even
Hmm.
in the 27 that they've won, it still felt like hell at times.
Hmm.
So it's just not been. It's not a fun existence. Being a Red Sox fan right now, they're supposedly desperately searching for a right-handed bat. Which I think is curious, interesting at the least. When I say desperately, the report that came out from I believe it was Buster Only at ESPN said
Hmm.
that ownership was getting involved in calling around and looking for this bat. I mean,
What?
desperate feels like at this point an understatement to describe what's going on in Boston right now. It it's one of the worst rosters I think that has been put together in franchise history.
I you know the Red Sox have always been, even when they didn't win, right, competitive.
Hmm.
And I feel like I was watching last night's game, and it was almost like these guys were, they're there because they have to be.
Hmm.
It didn't look like a team to me. It looked like a bunch of guys who like, all right, well, it's almost like the factory worker, right? Who clocks in and clocks out, and
Hmm.
there you go. Um, so again, it was rough. It was a rough situation to watch, because the franchise, for decades, has been, as I say, if not a championship caliber team, at least a competitive team.
Yeah, and I think when I sit back, I'm a little bit confused.
Hmm.
To say the least, is like there's a lot, and this is why I'm confused. There's a lot that Craig Breslow has done during
Hmm.
his time as the president of baseball operations
Right.
that has been really good. Like
Hmm.
the Garrett Crochet trade. I mean, he didn't pitch well this year when he was
Hmm.
pitching. But I mean, you go back to last season, like who that guy is. Like
Hmm.
that's a fantastic move. And then you look at a lot of the offseason additions and some of the trades that he's done, it hasn't always been bad. I mean, the Rafael
Hmm.
Devers trade, relatively speaking, and I mean, he's gotten it going in May. But a lot of a lot of executives look at that as $285 million of essentially dead cap money for a
Hmm.
designated hitter. That's not necessarily a great investment in the minds of a lot of people. I think a lot of people were surprised that he was able to get as much as he got. But then, you go off the backside of that deal. What does he do for it? James Tibbs goes for Dustin May, who's now an Arizona Cardinal. That doesn't matter. Kyle Harrison, a key piece of that, is now with the Brewers, who
Hmm.
traded Caleb Durbin for. That's a misstep as well. I mean, Jordan Hicks was supposed to be this strong, like seventh or eighth inning presence, a
Hmm.
setup piece in that bullpen. He was one of the worst pitchers that I've ever laid my own two eyes on last year, and now he's not even made the White Sox roster. Um, like there's just, and then you go to this year, like Sonny Gray, solid addition. He's been
Hmm.
pitching below 3 ERA. Wilson Contreras is having the best season of his career,
Hmm.
and Ranger Suarez, your pivot move in the offseason, your pitcher, he's had a low threes ERA. He's pitched really well for you this season. Aroldis Chapman is a great signing going back 2 years now. Like there's so much good that he's done, but it pretty much just gets overshadowed by the fact that he did not address the outfield logjam, which is a legitimate issue
Hmm.
because it messes with people's psyche when you're not playing every day. And when they're healthy, when Roman Anthony's healthy and can swing a bat,
Hmm.
that's a legitimate issue of getting these guys every day consistent at bats. And
Mhm.
you look at the way third base was handled with Caleb Durbin. Those are the two things that have really highlighted this year and highlighted this tenure for Craig Breslow, as successful as he was last year and some of the moves that he made.
Yeah.
Jim, you're muted. I don't know if you meant to do that.
No, I didn't mean to. My bad. Okay. So I guess last night was kind of a microcosm of what, you because Tampa Bay didn't play that well,
Yeah.
but
It,
it's the usual Tampa Bay way, right? They're not flashy. They just, at the end of the day, you look up the scoreboard, they won. You're like, how the hell that happened?
yeah.
Because they gave every opportunity for Boston to get back in that game. And
Yeah.
that was just like, no, no, you take it. No, no, you take it. No, no, we're good. We don't need it. It's like, okay. Yeah. Uh,
And the way that the roster's built too, and I think that's probably a pretty good, last night was probably a pretty good bird's eye view of what it's been like to watch all
mhm,
65 of them. But when you look at it and the way this team's built is you go through the rotation and
mhm,
Peyton Tolley, who's been phenomenal for the Red Sox this year, coming into
mhm,
last night with a 2.2 ADRA, left
mhm.
it with a 270, gave up 4 runs, only struck out 3, had a couple of
Right.
walks. Like they can't. That's a clunker start for these guys. Like they
Mhm,
can't have a start like that and realistically expect to go win baseball games because they don't. They've won, I think, one game when they're trailing after the seventh inning. That's where this team has been. They just don't have. I mean, lack of depth feels again like an understatement and of a descriptor for this Red Sox lineup.
It's funny. Brian Anderson, a former pitcher, and the Rays. I was watching the Rays broadcast, and he said, he goes, the Red Sox are a good organization and have been for years. And he said, and they made some smart moves. He goes, but I don't see, because you had mentioned about the bat, right?
Hmm.
And he referenced Buster as well. And he said, look, I don't see where a bat's going to help.
Yeah, I mean it's legitimate. Like, who is the guy out there on the trade market that you could give up anything in the realm of reasonable, like,
Mm-hmm,
and have them make an impact? I don't know. Like, is it? It would. The only thing that I think works, and
mm-hmm,
the only reason I bring it up is because it's something that was talked about in the off season,
mm-hmm,
and would be their best like circle back move is if the people in Arizona are as disgruntled with Ketel Marte as they say,
mm-hmm.
then that would be the only guy that you can sit there and go, maybe this guy would fix it. Like,
Right.
and even then, you're asking Ketel Marte to come in and fix, what is in effect an entire roster with one singular bat, and it's just not like it's impossible to do. Like, there's just no way. So I mean, and then if you were to do that hypothetically, that leaves
Mm-hmm,
you probably, in all likelihood, with a hole at shortstop in Marcelo Meyer. I do think it is interesting though, and I'm going to see if I can pull it up exactly. And good Lord, by no means do I expect this. I just think it's an interesting coincidence.
mm-hmm,
Let's see here. There's a pretty cool like 1-to-1 um, that they had with Chad Tracy and his dad,
mm-hmm.
um, who I'm just completely blanking on his name at the moment. Let's see. All right. I didn't find it off the rip, but it was so Chad Tracy's dad was the manager for the Colorado Rockies back in 2009. Okay, here we go. Yeah, Jim Tracy took over the team midseason after the manager was fired in Colorado back in
Mm-hmm.
2009. It was in double digit. They were double digit games under 500 in the first week of June, and their young shortstop who was coming off an injury plagued season the year before was currently hitting 218. Um, a week into June of that year, the shortstop changed his batting stance to include a toe tap for timing. On June 8th, he hit his first home run using the toe tap, and the guy who they're referencing was Troy Tulowitzki. That
Mhm.
Colorado Rockies team went on to win 92 games.
Right.
Marcelo Meyer was hitting 218 on Monday, June 8th, and implemented a toe tap, hit a homer. Everybody thought it was fun. Now, the report today is that Marcelo Meyer woke up with discomfort in his upper back and neck. So they're nothing like the Colorado
Right.
Rockies. The injuries just continue to come.
Let's downshift and go to college. Um, this just came across, and that is that five-star quarterback Kevin Velpe decommitted from Pittsburgh and is signing with USF. So that's a interesting move. Um, there's a lot of interesting moves going on in college football, in college sports in general. We're going to see whether or not very soon, if the bill gets passed in the Senate, that will make it more difficult for teams to leave one conference to go to the other. I don't know if it's going to pass, but I think I think it's going to be a very interesting next couple of weeks as we see how this thing unfolds. And we'll talk about that, but we also, um, I know you've got some stuff you want to talk about Sorsby with, and I'll tell you what, we've got about 5 6 minutes. Um, a observation on whether or not the bill is going to be anything of importance, and B, then your Sorsby bet.
I don't know. I just struggle. I don't think like Congress and the government,
Mm-hmm.
maybe they can fix some stuff. It just doesn't feel like that's where you need to go to fix stuff. Like depending on the government to come save this thing
Mm-hmm.
feels like the wrong way to approach the overall outlook in college football and college athletics in general. Um, and then there's it seems like there's so much wrong with college sports, specifically college football, more than anything. But the Brandon Sorsby temporary restraining order,
Mm-hmm.
and I mean, just the simplest of forms, it breaks the sport. Like it, you there's so many rulings that you've looked at and go like, well, this would be detrimental to the college game. I
Mm-hmm.
think back to Charles Bediako and whether or not he would be able to play, and there's going to be another one coming up here because they brought LSU brought RJ Luis in,
Mm-hmm.
and he was on an NBA roster, like he played on an NBA court. RJ Luis did.
Right.
He's now on LSU's roster. That's going to be an interesting one. You wouldn't expect them to be able to get away with that, but we'll see. Um, but this one right here, and this one, and you're seeing the response from athletic directors, coaches, and all this
Mm-hmm.
stuff, and it's the correct thing.
Mm-hmm.
As weird as it sounds, I was thinking about it yesterday, and it's almost like cars. Like
Mm-hmm.
the first, I was like 4 years old in theaters, and I can tell you, like you
Mm-hmm.
watch Nick Hicks win the Piston Cup, everybody's pissed about it. There's nothing really you can do.
Right.
But on the back end, Dynaco comes up and makes up for it by not offering him the sponsorship. Like it's something where the courts didn't save this, so now the athletic directors and the coaches have to go save this thing because if teams suit up against Texas Tech, like that's it. Like I don't get where the line is at. They're not amateurs anymore,
Mm-hmm.
but they're also not professionals. They don't have to adhere to rules of a CBA. And at this point, what we've learned is that the NCAA is nothing. In all honesty, there's a good chance that it never was anything,
Right.
but they have no power, like any power at all. It doesn't matter what league or sport
Mm-hmm.
you are a part of at this point. If you gamble on or around, like it doesn't matter if you gamble on your own team or not. Sorsby bet on his own team. He bet his own quarterbacks under while he was redshirted on the Indiana Hoosiers.
Mhm.
Well, he's redshirted. Wasn't on the right. It doesn't matter. Like betting is where the line is drawn in every possession. I mean, good God, Emmanuel Clase was 2 years ago in the running for the AL Cy Young as a closer. He placed bets on himself, and we have never heard from him again. Like that
Mhm.
was it. You place bets, you get banished into a shadow realm
Mhm.
for these professional sports leagues. And this one, it's like, well, we think he would be harmed. It's called the consequences of your own actions.
Right.
And there's no more consequences now for actions. They have to find somewhere along the line, you have to find some guiding, really governing body,
Mhm.
have rules and principles in place that these players have to abide by, because the Wild West is one thing when it comes to the transfer portal and NIL. This is a different thing. And I forget, I think it was an anonymous Big 12 head coach said, how can you have any trust in the integrity of the college game? Because what these judges have told you is like basically, yeah, do it. I mean, just do it and go to court, and you will win. In effect,
Mhm.
if Brennan Sorsby suits up for Texas Tech and teams play them,
Mhm.
I, I would be nothing short of shocked. They got Gene Taylor, the Kansas State AD, out
Right.
of hiding to come and speak out against this ruling, and shit's gone south if you
Mhm.
got Gene Taylor to make a comment
He's your guy, right?
on
He's
the
not
on
the
the way
go-to
things are
guy.
going.
All right. Well, let me get you out of here. Let me just give. We talked very briefly about the college, the Senate bill. The rationale behind it is that the vast majority of these schools are state schools,
Mhm.
and it's causing um, the Big Ten last year basically flew 94,700 miles. That, my friend, is not a, a source of good. And when only 21 out of 360, I'm sorry, 307 D1 schools make money, it just proves that, you know, the money that you say you're getting has gotten you nothing. Just saying.
Yeah.
And it's, you know, it's not fair to the kids who play, because beyond football, when you get to the Olympic sports, they're screwed. And that's a problem. We can talk about that tomorrow. We need to get you to a press conference about the U.S. Open. You'll come back tomorrow and tell us about it.
Sounds good.
All right, brother. You have a good
All right.
day.
Bye.
Okay, everyone. We'll see you soon. Take care.